Good seeing you back for Devos. All right, all this week we're talking about standing alone. Listen, you stand for what's right, even if you have to stand all by yourself. Now, I want to tell you a little story here because a lot of people don't really know what's going on here, even in Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh is a pretty liberal city. Now, there's some great Christians here, but we're in the minority. I'm just telling you. Okay, I'll give you an example. So I own a business I don't say a whole lot about, but this rental business I have, which I'm slowly been getting rid of it, I've had this for like 30 years. But we've had a major problem with the court system here. So I'm going to give you an example. When government goes liberal, this is what happens. So we have a tenant, and this tenant lives in this house, and they're dealing in drugs, and we have all the proof. They haven't paid the rent in 6 months, and it's becoming a drug house. So we go to the magistrate, and we're trying to get them out. And the magistrate, in front of everyone in this room, and the person was me, says, no, I'm not going to give you possession of this property, and they don't have to pay you the money. And they owed a lot of money. I said, why? And he said, because you make too much money. So he figures I own the house and I make too much money. He had somebody in the audience run him up a calculator, and he's talking about how much money I'm making on this apartment. Now, this isn't true. And so then he gets the whole courtroom riled up and lets the drug person win the case, and they'll have to pay the money. I go outside, and then I get a couple of people from court that act like they want to beat me up. They don't even know me. Okay, now, so I have another court hearing. I have a lady, okay, she had to pay rent in 6, 7 months. She has a vicious dog. Now, and at least she's not allowed to have the dog. But we go to court, and this dog is viciously biting people. They don't have utilities on. They got homeless people in there. I have 2 lawsuits of people trying to sue me right now because of these vicious dogs. And the judges are making me keep her in the house. I don't care if you share this with the judge. I don't care. They know what they're doing. I could tell you a long list of just my stories. Now, this is the product of evil ruling. And just so you know, this is why Chicago has fallen apart. And Pittsburgh is beginning to follow her, as many other cities. So this is why we want righteous judges. We need to have conservative people that are serving in our communities. Now, Nehemiah chapter 4, verse 14, here they are. They're trying to build the city back up, and there's all sorts of trouble. And he says, all this trouble arose. And so he said to the nobles, to the officials, and to the rest of the people, do not be afraid of them. Remember the Lord. He is great and awesome. And so I want you to fight for your brothers and fight for your sons and fight for your daughters and your wives and your homes. What's that saying? As believers, we don't let the evil people rolling in our society rule us. We don't sit back and do nothing. That's why you have to vote. I'm telling you, you got to make the most righteous choice that you can. Look, through life storms, God anchors our soul, teaching us to rely on him alone. The way you stand alone and don't go with the crowd, and we don't think those liberal evil thoughts, or we don't kind of give up because it's hopeless, is we just stand for God, and he'll give us the strength to stand even though we stand alone. 1 Peter 5:10. He says, now after you suffered a little while, that's God's will many times, the God of all grace, who has called you to his eternal glory in Christ, will himself restore and confirm and strengthen and establish you. What's that saying? God has planned for the trouble in which you have. So don't throw in the towel. So I asked God for strength, and God gave me difficulties to make me strong. I like that. Okay, so listen, I don't know what you're going through right now, but I'm here to tell you this. Stand firm, stand for the Lord, vote as a Christian, and I'm telling you, more Christians to do this, we would start seeing our communities, our government, our nation getting back on the right track. So I want you to vote about who goes into office this coming election.